All right, welcome to New England Beer Buddies. I'm Mark, this is Garrett, and today we're going to be tasting a couple of Kolsch's. We're going to be trying the Goody Two Shoes from Exhibit A Brewing in Framingham, Massachusetts, and the Hercules style Kolsch Ale from Schilling Brewing in Littleton, New Hampshire. We are doing a lot of Schilling Brewing.
That we are.
Yes, but they're one of the few local breweries that specialize in German style ales. So Kolsch is a style that was invented in the city of Cologne, Germany. And it's it's kind of like a take on a Pilsner, but it uses ale yeast, so top fermenting yeast, instead of bottom fermenting yeast like lagers use. And it was actually made specifically to kind of compete against the lager styles that were being imported from Eastern Germany and Bohemia. So you notice it'll look quite a bit similar, where it's supposed to be kind of a gold or straw colored, supposed to be very clear. It's kind of interesting because it's made sort of using some lager style methods where like they use top fermenting yeast, but they sort of store it for a long time in like a cold cellar. But yeah, it's just a very good, easy drinking beer. It's a style that, while not super well known, I really enjoy. So without further ado, let's test it.
Let's do it. Cheers.
Cheers. It's very, it's very carbonated. Feel a kind of more of a, again, it's pretty light, drinkable, a soft mouthfeel. This one actually looks a bit hazier than I would expect.
Yeah, that was kind of one of my impressions as well.
Yeah.
Even as I was pouring, I kind of held a couple up to the camera. I don't know if you could quite see it as I did it, but I just kind of noticed it and figured.
Yeah. So
the show.
Yeah, I mean, it tastes very like how much I would expect a Kolsch to taste, but yeah, it's definitely hazier than you would expect.
Yep, absolutely. Kind of surprised by that, actually.
Yeah. Also, one of the thing on this, it said that is a Kolsch style ale. I think that's because officially a Kolsch has to be brewed within 50 kilometers of Cologne, Germany to be considered a Kolsch. And I'm not sure of the exact distances, but I'm guessing New England is more than 50 kilometers from Cologne, Germany.
I'm guessing. I know. I bet Schilling's more than 50 kilometers from where we're sitting, probably. It's on the other side of the White Mountains, so it's a ways away.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. I feel that it's a little bit compared to some of the German styles. It's almost I don't want to say IPA, but that hoppiness is a little bit further forward than some of the other German styles that are trying to be a bit more neutral. And that's really one of the enjoyable parts about Kolsch in general, is you do get a little bit more of the. It's still very neutral, but you get a little bit more hop coming through, I feel, than in some of the other styles. So
yes, I feel it's more hop forward than the. Because we had a Helles Lager earlier today, and I feel it's a bit more hoppy than that one was.
Right, those lean, most of those, the Pilsners and the Helles and stuff like that, it leans more towards the sweet grain flavor, I feel. Whereas definitely Kolsch is a bit more hop forward, but definitely a good middle ground. If I think if IPAs aren't your thing, if you're a hop fan, but if a lot of IPAs are just too much for you, which I know sometimes they are for me, I feel like a Kolsch is a really good option just for a refreshing drink with some of that hop flavor without overdoing it. It's a pretty balanced style, I feel, in that regard.
Yes, like a lot of the German style beers, I feel are great to recommend to people that are relatively new to craft beer. I know I've had some success with recommending it to people that are like, to go out and drink, and they're like, I really don't know what I want, but I don't want something like, it's really crazy, and it's hard to go wrong with like a German style lager or Kolsch.
Yep, absolutely. And just for the viewers, you can see this little fuzzy head just above the table.
Yeah.
That's our unofficial mascot. It's my dog Russ kind of poking by here. So sorry if he's causing a little ruckus, but
I don't know. He's just he's interested in learning more about beer. So
absolutely. Well, you can't have it. That's not good for dogs. Don't feed dogs beer.
Yeah, all you can do is learn. Learn only, no taste.
Well, thank you for giving us, the kind of the history lesson on Kolsch, and for making this great selection. I think we'll probably kind of enjoy this one, and then we'll come back with our comments on the next one up, the Exhibit A.
All right. The next beer we're going to taste is going to be the Goody Two Shoes by Exhibit A Brewing, another Kolsch, obviously. This is one that I have had before, not for a while, but I remember it being really, really good, being one of my kind of favorite in the sort of the Kolsch style. I have a friend who for a while lived in Austria and got to try a lot of the original German beers, and he said this was a very good take on the Kolsch style. So we're going to taste it and see if it's as good as I remember.
I'm sure it is. I believe I've actually had this one as well in the past, although to be honest, I believe it was pretty much once, so I don't really remember the flavor. So it'd be good to have a refresher course, so to speak, on this. As you can see right off the bat with that one, it's got quite a bit of head actually to it. Unlike less like the Schilling. The Schilling was much flatter. Still not to say it was flat, but it was flatter than these two, for sure.
Yeah.
That's a knock on them, but.
Yeah, and the other thing I want to mention is this is very, very clear, which is kind of what a Kolsch should be like according to sort of the style guides. That was definitely different from the Schilling one, which was a lot more hazy. But this, I think, is kind of more of a classic Kolsch look.
Yeah, it definitely has that golden straw color. I mean, you can see right through it very, very clearly. Yeah, let's give it a whirl.
Yep.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Prost, whichever.
Yeah, it is really, really good.
It is, and right off the bat, I'd say, I know on the Schilling we commented a little bit on that hoppiness.
Yeah.
Definitely being a little bit more than a Pilsner or something like that.
Yeah.
But I feel like this is a little tamer in that regard too. I feel like the Schilling was fairly hoppy for a Kolsch.
Yes, I do believe that Kolsch's are generally supposed to be, not like I feel the Schilling one is a bit more hop forward than a Kolsch should be. This one I think is more of a sort of the better, we talked about the look, but even the taste I feel is a better representation of what a Kolsch should be.
Yeah, that is very good. Less of that, a little more of that earthy flavor than the Pilsner's range on the sweeter side. And then this, the Kolsch has, it's, not dark or I don't know how to describe it well, but I guess it's not a super earthy flavor, but it's a little less sweet and a little more earthy, for lack of a better word, I guess. Definitely a lot less sweetness to it. Great beer. This is very well balanced, very well done for sure.
Yeah, but it's definitely as good as I remember it being. It's just this one. It's again, we've talked about this. Kolsch. It's just a very drinkable style, and this I think is a sort of a perfect example of that. You could easily like a 4-pack of this, and you can drink a good amount of it in an evening, and it's really, really good. And also the low ABVs and stuff mean that it's a great sort of thing to have a couple of maybe if you feel like you've had a stressful day at work and you want to relax with some coworkers. It's really just a perfect type of beer for that.
Yeah, it's a very drinkable beer and still flavorful. but very very clear, very true to style here. Yeah, and that's just that's crystal clear. I'm sure you can see that. So. Great job by Exhibit A.
Yeah.
One of many great products from them, of course, and definitely one that I'll be adding to my list of kind of go-tos in that style. I think if I had to, we've talked a lot about all these German styles being a great way to kind of shoe someone into craft beer a little bit, and no pun intended with the goody two shoes. Yeah. But I think this would be a really, really good entry point there. And like I said, if they were a little more IPA kind of fan, then the Hercules being a little less traditional, I'd definitely kind of maybe point someone that way if they're kind of that hoppy fan, but IPAs are a little much for them. But this is a great beer and not overly on the sweet side, very well balanced. So I'm impressed.
Yeah.
I don't know if you had anything else or if we want to...
No, I think that's good.
All right. Sounds good. Well, again, we want to thank you for tuning in, for watching us. Of course, we want you to like and comment and subscribe. If you have any suggestions or comments for us, please feel free to leave them below. And, of course, follow us on Twitter and all that good stuff. As always, we say, drink good beer.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.